friends, this is Dr. Diane of Dr. Diane's Adventures in Learning. Welcome to Science Story Time. Today we are going to be reading The Gurabia Man, the Armenian version of the Gingerbread Man, and it's written by Talene, Dadian White. Now, I don't know about you, but when I don't know how to pronounce something, one of the first things I try to do is look in the glossary. And we are so fortunate because the author gave us a glossary here of how to pronounce the different names in their language. So I am going to do my very best as I read, and we're going to look for context clues as we read for what these different things mean as well. Are you ready to go on our gingerbread adventure? Let's begin. Once upon a time, on a farm in Savan, Armenia, the Dadian family was busy preparing a holiday feast to celebrate Zanut. Anybody have a guess what Zanut might be? You're right. It's kind of like Christmas. Marik cooked lamb, fish, pilaf, and koreg for their family and friends. So we know that mareg is mama, and pilaf is a kind of a rice, and I wonder what koreg might be. What do you guys think as you look at the picture? Maybe it's a bread? She also decided to bake Gurabia cookies for the celebration. So she mixed the dough, she rolled it out, and she cut out the shape of a man. She decorated the man with pistachios for eyes and dried apricots for buttons. She put the Gurabia man in the oven, and she waited for him to bake. So far, it's very similar to the versions we've heard before, right? A while later, Marik opened the oven door to see if the cookie was done, when suddenly the little Gurabia man jumped out and began running across the kitchen floor, laughing and swinging his arms. Somehow, a little mischief had gotten magically sprinkled into the cookie dough. The Gurabia man knocked over baskets of hatsa and spilled platters of kash before running out the door. Marik ran after him, shouting, "I'll get you, Gurabia man! You made a big mess!" But the Gurabia man ran faster, singing, "Vazi, vazi, as fast as you can. You can't catch me, I'm the Gurabia man." So I wonder what vazi means. What do you guys think? Run? I think you're right. Down the road ran the naughty little Gurabia man until he saw a fat old kahoz. What's a kahoz? A pig. Resting in the mud. He sneaked up behind the kahoz and he grabbed hold of the curly tail. Then he pulled the tail as hard as he could and he let it snap back with a sting. Snap! The Gurabia man laughed, "Nya, nya," and then he ran away. Do you think the pig is happy? I don't think so. "Oink, oink," squealed the kazaz as he stroked his painful tail. "I'll get you, Gurabia man. You snapped my tail." The kazaz pulled himself out of the mud and began chasing him. But the Gurabia man ran faster, singing, "Vazi, vazi, as fast as you can. You can't catch me, I'm the Gurabia man." Farther down the road, the Gurabia man passed a yard where a big brown shun was sleeping. Once again, the Gurabia man could not resist causing trouble. What's a shun? What do you guys think? It's a dog. He quietly crept up to the shun, grabbed the vaskor. Oh, what's a vaskor? A bone. Laying by its paw, and he bonked the shun on its head as hard as he could. "Ha, ha, ha," giggled the Gurabia man, and then he ran away. Do you think the shun is happy? I don't think so. The shun stood up and he barked angrily. "Woof, woof, woof. I'll get you, Gurabia man. You bonked my head." The Shun ran after him, but the Gurabia man ran faster, singing, "Vazi, Vazi, as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the Gurabia man." The Gurabia man reached the farm gates, but he wanted to play more tricks. He saw an Eze. What do you think an Eze is? A donkey, peacefully eating grass in the field. He ran up to the unsuspecting Eze, raised his little foot, and kicked the Eze in the varag. Uh-oh, what do you think the varag is? The bottom. As hard as he could. The Gurabia man laughed, hee, and he kept on running. The surprised Eze yelled out, "I'll get you, Gurabia man. You kicked my varig." The Eze spit out the grass and chased after him, but the Gurabia man ran faster, singing, "Vazi, Vazi, as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the Gurabia man." Uh-oh. The mischievous little Gurabia man ran out of the farm gates with Marig, the Kaz, the Shun, and the Eze chasing after him. He ran and he ran until he came to the crystal waters of Lake Savan, which he could not cross. What happens to a cookie if it gets wet? That's a really good guess. It probably gets crumbly and gooey. He stopped at the lake's edges, wondering what to do, when suddenly he heard a deep growl. "Parev, Gurabia man." Who do you think it is? The Gurabia man was startled by a voice and turned around to see a large orange aghivis. What's an aghivis, do you think? A fox lying under a tree. The Gurabia man was frightened by the aghivis' sharp claws and fangs, and he took a few steps back, saying, "Vazi, Vazi, as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the Gurabia man. I ran from my rig. I ran from the Kaz. I ran from the Shun. I ran from the Eze, and now I'll run from you too. See if I can." The sly aghivis chuckled. "Ha, ha, ha, Gurabia man. You don't have to run from me. I want to help you. If you try to cross Lake Savan, you'll get wet and soggy and fall apart. But I can help you cross without getting wet before the others catch you. Just hop on my huchigi and I will carry you safely to the other side." What do you think a huchigi is? Probably his backside. Would you trust the fox? The aghivis' plan pleased the Gurabia man, as he was anxious to escape his angry followers. So the Gurabia man hopped onto the Ashigi's boravs. Oh, it's a tail, and they waded into the lake. After a few steps, the aghivis said, "Oh, the water is getting too deep and you might get wet. Why don't you climb onto my gurnag?" What's his gurnag? That's his backside. So we've gone from his tail to his backside. And he said, the water does look deep. And so he crawled onto the agave's gurnag. The agaves swam on, but a few minutes later he said, "Oh, the water is rising. You should climb onto my viz so that your little feet don't get wet." What's the viz? Is he up on his head? Do you think that's a good place for the Gurabia man to be? The Gurabia man looked around at the water, which seemed to be rising, and then he climbed up onto the agave's viz. The agaves waded further into the lake, and then he said, "This water's getting choppy. You might get splashed here. Jump onto my kit and you will be safe." What's his kit? The nose. What's your nose really close to? Where do you think the poor Gurabia man is about to end up? The Gurabia man did not want to get wet, and so he could hear Myrig and the animals approaching the lake's edge. So he immediately climbed up on the agave's kit and he held on tight. Suddenly, the agave snarled and threw his head back, and the Gurabia man went flying up into the air. As he was flying down, the agaves opened his big mouth and gulp! He swallowed the Gurabia man in one bite. "Amove!" exclaimed the agaves. And that was the end of the charred little Gurabia man. But don't be sad for him, because even though he's gone away, other Gurabia men will come some other day. You can be sure that the Gurabia man will return when someone bakes Gurabia. And in the back of this wonderful book, there's a pronunciation guide and a glossary, but there's also a recipe for how to make Gurabia. So I hope you enjoyed this book. Check out my website for activities, and I look forward to doing science story time with you very soon. Thanks a lot.